Hello everyone, good morning. We are from Group 5. In this nice occasion, we will talk about narrative text. Before we begin our presentation, let me introduce our group member. I am Alia Rihadatul Aisyi as your moderator, DEnara Shavinka as your first speaker, Andini Dwi Putri as your second speaker, and Amalia Rhmatika as your third speaker. We will discussion about definition of narrative text, social function of narrative text, generic structure of narrative text, grammatical feature of narrative text, and kind of narrative text. Let's get started.
Okay, thank you for the moderator to give me an opportunity. I will explain the definition of narrative text. A narrative text is the text that tells a story that takes place in a certain period of time and place. The narration refers to the way of telling the story in the form of a sequence or as a series of actions carried out by the characters, and that allows the reader to imagine that situation. A narrative text is a type of writing that tells story. The story usually takes place in a specific times and location. The way the story is told or narrated can be through a sequence of events or action done by the characters. When reading this type of text, it allows you to imagine what is happening in the story as if you were there yourself. Next, explanation about social function. The social function of narrative text is to entertain or to mask and deal with actual or vicarious experiences in different ways. Narrative deals with problematic events which lead to a crisis or turning point of some kind, which in turn finds a resolution. Narrative texts are stories that serve a social purpose. They can be used to entertain or amuse people, as well as help them deal with real-life experiences or experiences they may have only witnessed through others. These stories often involve problems or challenges that the characters must face, which ultimately lead to a turning point or crisis. Through this process, the story finds a resolution and provides closure for both the characters and the reader. Essentially, narrative texts are an important way for people to connect with each other and understand different perspectives on life's challenges and problems.
Okay, so for the generic structure, there are four of them. First, orientations. It is about the opening paragraph where the sets, the scene, and the characters of the story are introduced. It consists answer of who, when, and where question. Second, complication. It is a series of complication or where the problems happen and develop. Third, resolution. It is where the problems are solved. It means the characters finally sort out the complication. The fourth is reorientation. It is the ending of the story and it is optional. It consists of a moral lesson, advice, or teaching from the writer. Okay, so we get to the example. The title is The Ant and the Cocoon. For orientations, one day there was an ant walking in the garden. He was very happy to be able to walk around and see the beautiful garden. The ant walked around the garden and greeted the animals in the garden. For the complication, the ant saw a cocoon on a tree, so he mocked the cocoon's ugly shape and its inability to go anywhere. The ant was always proud of himself. He could go where he liked and even lift weights bigger than his body. One day, the ant took another walk to the park. Because it was raining, there was a mud puddle. The slippery mud made him fall into the pond. The ant almost drowned in the puddle, then he shouted as loud as he could for help. "Please help me, I'm going to drown, please help." for the resolution. Luckily for the ant, a butterfly was watching. Then the butterfly held out a twig to the ant. "Ant, hold on tight to that branch, I will lift it up," said the butterfly. Then the ant held out the branch tightly. The butterfly lifted the branch and lowered it to a safe place. Later, the ant thanked the butterfly for saving him. He praised the butterfly as a great and kind animal. Hearing the compliment, the butterfly said to the ant, "I'm the cocoon that you mocked." For the reorientations, it turned out that the cocoon he had mocked had saved him. Finally, the ant promised the butterfly that he would not mock other animals.
Grammatical feature. Number 1, past tense. Example, kill, drunk, came. Number 2, adverb of time. Example, once upon a time, one day, a long time ago. Number 3, time conjunction. Example of word, when, then, suddenly, next. Number 4, focus on individualized participant. Number 5, action verb. Example of word, kill, duck, walk. Number 6, direct speech is to make a story lively. Example, she said, "My name is Snow White."
Okay guys, let's take a look in this example. In the story about the ant and the cocoon, we can see the work as action verb, graded as past tense, one day as adverb of time, then as time conjunction, the butterfly as individualized participant, and I'm the cocoon that you make as direct speech. The next material is kind of narrative text. There are several kind of narrative text. The first one is fairy tale. Fairy tale has character, magical story, and usually happy ever after. For example is a story about Cinderella and Snow White. The second one is legend. Legend is narrative of human action, traditional and historized, sometimes known as folk tale. For example, the most popular legend in West Sumatra is Malin Kundang. And the third is fable. Fable is a story about animal like human behavior. For example, grasshopper and ant. Another kind of narrative text are adventure, science fiction, romance, and horror. Okay guys, that's all from us. We hope you all understand about our material. And if you have any question, please write in our discussion forum. Thank you.